Karandrin role-playing. It's episode 37, gang, of Brise's Tale. You didn't think we'd make it, be honest. Be honest. But we're back. I'm Kevin Manus Pinnings, your host and game master for the night. I'm also known as Crack Palantir. But this is indeed episode 37 of Brise's Tale after she was unexpectedly teleported away from the door of the bedroom door of the manor that she was exploring. And but as always, with me is my good buddy Max playing Brise. Brise, say hello, Max. Say hello.
Hello, Max. That's my
That's
voice.
right.
Yeah.
That's
Hello,
right.
everybody. Welcome to episode 37. I've told this to Kevin probably 100 times, but I had a teacher who was in college, professor in college, who adored the number 37. So, Dr. Schwartz, if you're still alive and watching this, this episode's for you. Digital logic professor at University of Florida. So it's going to be a good episode, I think, Kevin. I think a lot of good things are going to happen.
That's right. I have faith because you have faith, and that's all that matters.
I hope all of you have faith, to all of our viewers.
That's right. And I certainly know that one thing you can have faith in is there'll be an ample amount of scat throughout the episode.
Okay, I was waiting. I'm like,
no, I'm
throughout. Okay. Oh no, you just paused. You got cut out for like a second.
Oh, that is the internet god saying, that's enough scat. That's probably what that is. So I forgot to bump up our volume for the broadcast. I bump it up slightly. God bless it.
I do the YouTube video up and it says it's waiting. Hasn't come through yet through Restream. So wondering if anyone's seen it. Maybe want to check YouTube real quick before we get into too much. I'll check Twitch.
There it is. I need to mute this tab before I go over there. There we go. What is going on with our stuff?
What is going on? Okay, I think Twitch is working.
I've got
there you go. Twitch is working. I can see Twitch is live, is up. YouTube for me still says waiting.
That is really strange. Oh, I do have a viewer. We do have someone watching. Well, we may just have a weird session.
Weird session, indeed. All right. Well, hopefully the YouTube comes up. But if you're on, you can't communicate to them. But I don't know if you make.
Oh, that's true. I wonder if I can. Well, I don't know. I wonder if I can send. I'll try to send a message. Let's see. Anyone? Hang on. Anyone in YouTube land? It shows that the message sent to both.
I don't see the message on YouTube. Whatever's happening on YouTube is destroyed. I just have to go on with it and see if it's fixed in a little bit. I don't know if there's
I'm orange. Gang, I'm sorry.
Oh, now you're cutting out, Kevin. Oh man, it's this icy weather, this storm, which has a very mundane name. Can't remember. Lambert or something.
Landon.
Made
for TV's great Michael Landon. So named.
Yeah. Because it's ruining our show.
Who refused to star in the fantastic show. I've lost the name of it. The famous Laura Ingalls novels, that Little House on the Prairie. He refused to star in Little House on the Prairie unless he could write and direct some, and he wrote and directed most of the episodes. Isn't that crazy? That show ran a very long time.
YouTube is up.
Yay!
Sorry to interrupt your story, but
no, it's fine. It came perfectly. Hello, Bunny Baby. We're gonna keep going, I guess, limping along. We don't know exactly what our technical issues are. Well, thank you, BB Art, for joining us, and thank you for giving us a shout and letting us know that we're up and running. And And so, as I mentioned, poor Brise got teleported away, and then she's from the manor as some sort of security defense was triggered that protected the manor. She is now sort of hopping from. She began hopping teleport just within sight, trying to find some settlement to get some sense of where she is. She discovered she was quite a ways away, teleport to the north up in the mountains of the goblin nation Nargaz.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's fine, man.
I was about to say, look at the map, and like, oh, it's not there.
About to send you a message. Yeah, right there. And so, so he's come to an inn, throwing some coppers their way, and collapsed for the night. We're going to have Max do the 3 rolls that occur in at least my system when you go to bed. So go crazy, Max.
44. Wow.
Okay.
23. Oh my god. 98. Oh, that's okay.
Roll again and add it. Yes.
+3.
Okay.
101.
You wake up mid-morning,
Okay.
feeling rested. You are shocked you slept as late as you did. Usually, of course, in this society, you're usually sun up to sundown kind of people. And you're in the tiny town of Cambry, up in North Nargaz. You know, make yourself pretty. And so we probably want to give you, we probably ought to, why don't you, let's back up a little bit and have you roll for some reading on your tome, maybe.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
We'll
it
just
was only like evening, so I could have done that. Way of the Spirit, 32.
32. All right. So we'll give you half an hour on that. And so you wake. There wasn't a lot of people in here, as you recall. There were no adventurers.
Yeah.
And here we are, April 30th. What would you like to do?
So I come down stairs and there's no adventurers. Said.
Last night there weren't any.
Last night, right? So I'm, once I'm all prettied up and looking good, strap on my adventuring gear and go down for some breakfast, and maybe we can talk to some people.
Sure.
Look like they might be able to get me home. If there are any.
Mid-morning, you know that most of your most of the inhabitants are going to be out and about. I mean, they their day has already started. They're not going to be in a pub unless they've got a meeting or something like that. There is a sort of plain looking elven woman in simple gray robes, and she is sipping a beverage, and she is watching your end of the hallway. It's only a 1-story inn. It's too small of a town to really support larger occupants than that. You walk in. She gives a visible sign of recognition, gives you a great big smile, rises and strides towards you. She's a few inches taller than you. She approaches and extends a hand and introduces herself as Ajaya. There's a spelling for you. She has come on behalf of Her Majesty Queen Verilag.
Oh, interesting.
She tells you that she has recently been employed, and periodically it will be she who will be checking in on you and seeing if you need anything. As she gestures to her table.
Okay.
Hey, Obi-Wan. Glad you could join us.
Yeah. I I zoned out a little when you described her. So was she a human woman?
So as she gets close, you thought she was Elven. Turns out she's half Elven.
Okay.
Blonde. Clearly from a very unusual community. Her hair is crew cut.
Oh wow.
Which is almost shocking for you to see. I mean, that's so rare.
Yeah.
She's very comfortable with herself. She's very well humored. Laughs easily. Makes quips all the time. Roll for me. Let's see how you feel about her.
Yeah. 55.
Hard to read. But certainly she's enjoyable to be around, and you're like, you certainly don't want to trust that, right? You know what I mean? But you do have faith in your own gut instinct. So you're just going to let things play. You feel like you're not going to prejudge her. You're going to hold off, let her reveal who she is. And maybe that feeling will feel true, not just that's your, that's her humor, sort of seducing you, if you will. So she sits, she orders you breakfast. Okay. Oh Lord, I've got my Siri popped up. I must have hit a button. But yeah, brown eyes, not very attractive, which is shocking for an elf, but just not very attractive. She could use some attention to her clothes and her hair. Clearly she does not take a lot of time with her oh geez, wrong button. With her grooming. But she does make you laugh, and she order pays for breakfast for you. They set another pot of tea down in front of her.
At some point in the conversation, I'd like to bring up. So, what did Verilag tell you about me? That's a good idea
of. She says that you contain within you a key to her ultimate success magically, and that with you she will be able to unlock her full potential as a magician. As you can expect, of course, she's promised me some share of that power and of considerable magical learning, which I must say she's already come through on. I'm already learning so much from her. It's remarkable.
Oh, wow.
She was surprised to find you this far north. She thought you were considerably further south in Nargaz. Nothing amiss, I hope.
Well, actually, there's something amiss, which is that in some, I'll tell her the truth, in some ruins I was exploring, I was on a magical trap that teleported me to where, this location against my will.
Oh, indeed.
Out of my range. It's, well, I don't want to, I guess I'm basically going to ask for help. So, because I kind of trust that if she's I guess, if she's entrusted to Verilag, then I can trust her the same way. You know what I mean? Verilag doesn't want me hurt, so she wouldn't. And if she trusts Verilag, she wouldn't do the same to me. So I feel like you could trust her help, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I know I'm an untrustworthy person, but I need someone to help, and she's like, is offering it.
Right. Roll for me.
18.
Okay. So yeah, you can't think of a reason why she wouldn't be as trustworthy, whatever that
Right.
may mean,
Right.
as Verlag herself, right?
Right.
She is under, she's a subordinate of Verlag, therefore, presumably they want the same thing, and so yes.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I'll tell her that, and that I actually really could use some help getting back, getting back home, as it would be.
Well, we can certainly attempt that. Um, I um, I can certainly get you much closer. I
Yeah.
have been near um, Ballabry, but I've not been so close as to actually have been in the town.
Okay.
But I've been within probably half a day of it, and that's certainly closer than you are now.
Yeah.
But there are a few questions, of course, I must ask.
Okay.
You Have you had any contact with any person or animal who seems to be acting strangely? You know that she is very concerned that this Kralum individual is attempting to thwart her use of you. Have you had any indication that there are undue influences near you?
I'll ponder a moment and be like, uh, no, I don't think so. Or it's just no, really, yeah, flat out. I mean, and I'll say I there. No, I mean, yeah, just no. I don't know. I'm trying to like make the lie like more convincing, but that's probably don't need to do that. Just if she presses me, I can something.
Roll for me.
4.
Roll again and subtract.
Minus 79.
She is convinced.
Okay.
Um, she says that well, I mean, if this is the only snag that we've had, your little teleport here, and this demon Kralum continues to stay out of our business, and given Verlag's recent increase in power that happened very suddenly, well, things have gone very well for all of us, I'd say. Um, well, then,
Can I also ask just what the process of teaching has been like? I've always been curious. I haven't interacted much with Verilag myself, but you seem to have spent a great deal of time with her.
she has knowledge of spells that are incredibly rare, um, and are very hard to come by in tome form. And so, but even with a tome, these are much more difficult to learn. In fact, it is possible that the spell that sent you here is among the ones that I will be learning.
Oh wow!
Basically, spells to protect one's domain. Um, Spells where you establish a residence so that you can perform your research without interruption and without invasion by various competing interests.
Right.
And since that's the next stage in my own path, it was my hope that I could find someone who would be willing to teach me these. And these are very sought after spells. And so after a few years of service with her, I will no doubt have enough to secure my own little workshop, secluded from other people and protected when I'm gone. So quite remarkable magic that she
Yeah.
knows. I've never seen anyone like her.
She's a very generous queen.
She is indeed. She is. And if she establishes her realm to the north, then so be it. I am politics is not in my domain of interest. So, well, unless you have other business, I say eat up and then we'll go.
Yeah, sounds good to me. Yeah, I mean, through the course of the conversation, has my opinion ever changed at all? I guess she hasn't brought up anything strange, or she does just seem very, admiring and ambitious. It seems like.
Your intuition has, your gut feeling has grown toward her that that she's fundamentally a fine person. You're a little disappointed in her sort of disdain about who's ruling whom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Roll for me.
18.
Clearly interested in power. You wish you could glean more about where her research areas lie. But because she's clearly embarking on that area of her career, right? Where,
right.
And it would be nice to know what that's going to mean for the world, given the other dangers you've discovered.
Right.
So, but she's very pleasant to talk to. I mean, you really have a great time with her just in the half hour or so.
Yeah.
You find yourself laughing more than you have in a long time.
It's really funny for like other viewers who maybe haven't watched some of the previous streams or forgot about Barrel Lag. It's like, oh yeah, she seems like a really nice person.
Right.
From this interaction at a glance. It's dramatic irony, a lot of
that. Right. It's interesting too. Like we don't do a lot of role playing, of course, pushes away the social stuff. But here we're not even talking about exactly social as we're talking about social needs. You know what I mean? Like, you're alone a lot of the time. You don't have a lot of people to confide in or just to enjoy a beer with.
Or you have people to help me out. Yeah.
Yeah. And your help is sort of scattered. You don't have a lot of company. And so you find yourself sort of in a weird position of liking this right-hand woman.
Yeah.
This henchwoman, although herself of considerable henchwench. That's what we call them. And so, but you find yourself trying to hold back, right? Because you can't get overly familiar and let something slip. You can't mention Prowlum, and so on. So, yeah. So, you have a really good time. She is, she enjoys you and she is, she has no particular thing to keep guarded from you.
Right. She's very talkative. Yeah.
Right. Roll for me.
40.
So you note that time is slipping by, but you're having a good time.
Yeah.
And she does offer up, like, just in discussions of what you're doing and things like that. What were you doing and what did you encounter at the mansion? She is filled with knowledge. And so that is to say, are you in a rush to get back, or do you want to keep extending this conversation because it's
going on, like, you think lunchtime now?
Yes. Yeah, it's very late. It's pushing lunchtime. Yeah.
Okay. Let me think real quick. So last time I was at the Miagral's Keep was the 28th. And it was then the 29th. And now it's the April 30th, right? Okay. So I think my big thing about going back to the Keep is Aldrif, would be back there and like add a beer to check in with them because it's been 2 days, So I guess it might be we just roll for it. It's like, do I feel like going back, checking if in time? Well, no, I guess it'll be all day today. I can get back at any time, right? So I
Right.
might as well take my time.
Except that you do have a horse. Don't you? Isn't your horse still at the camp?
No, I teleported to the camp.
Okay.
Yeah. My
Okay.
horse, I teleported from the manor to the camp. I walked away from town. You can double check that real quick. How'd I get to the manor? Yeah.
So she mentions just in the conversation you've had when you mentioned the dark lashes, just as part of your thing, she tells you that that the fact that they travel in small tribes, and that the
okay.
red pouch on one that actually signifies the leader
Oh, wow.
of a little clan of them.
Okay. Yeah, interesting.
Um,
I might as well describe the experience, I had with them and see what she thinks of that. I was able to intimidate it into thinking I was its master of sorts.
She tells you that if the other Dark Lash encounter you, they will show deference to you because
Okay.
the leader has shown deference to you. But do not push them. Don't abuse that power over them, or
Right.
they will turn on you and out of resentment.
Right.
But how much longer? I mean, do you want to just sit
Oh,
and
no,
enjoy?
I think I should be here longer, yeah, because she seems willing to talk and very knowledgeable. And I just want to be back at the keep later today.
Sure.
So if she said within half a day, I can teleport the rest of the distance. So,
Right.
so I'm willing to sit with her, talk through some of the things, especially some of the things I discovered at the manor. I'd like to.
Well, yeah, just if you've got a checklist, we can go through and you just bring
Yeah.
up topics.
Yeah. So, the first one is the constructs, just about them, I kind of found one ruined and I fought one, and what they might, if they have any weaknesses or how they actually function, like what she knows about them.
She says, as you no doubt have guessed, it is their, they are as strong as their physical material.
Yeah.
Wooden constructs.
Pretty metal.
Right.
I already made that joke. Sorry.
Yeah. Wooden constructs also exist, and of course, they're as difficult to fight as the wood would suggest.
Right.
Generally, they are metal or wood, and there is an animating power within them that is a true art to be able to construct. Although there are spell lists that lean that devote themselves entirely to that.
Right. These ones moved very naturally, it seemed, and very almost could be mistaken from humans from a distance.
The art has improved over time. Some of the earliest spell lists about them, they were very primitive. Could not be made to patrol, could only be told to attack anything in sight. So generally they were put in rooms by themselves that were supposed to be impassable.
Right.
Then
when the C programming language came out.
That's right. C++ constructs.
And then Python.
That's right. That's for hammerworms. That's programmed hammerworms.
Exactly. Everything is just a robot.
That's right. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Did you say anything else about constructs also?
She tells you that when you really get to ones made of the superior metals, she says, you you cannot be too careful.
Mm.
They can cut through doors of any inferior material,
Right. Right.
and they certainly have the strength for it. Um, you know, um, Other items.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I show her the feather in the the feather, yeah, from the one nest in the balcony.
Yeah.
About this feather that from a bird that I hear her touch it, and it warms to the touch. The creature this might have come from.
I don't know. I've never seen one myself. I spent some time in the frozen marshes south of Grundivore, and there the tribes speak of a very similar creature and prize their feathers. And they're supposed to be very plentiful in the far reaches of the very mountains we're in, but
Okay.
I've never seen one myself.
Okay. Just my character is interested in kind of the creatures and how they could like benefit, like knowledge of them could benefit others, and it's like this seems very useful. These kind of like feathers to have these kind of birds around.
Yeah, inherent warming properties, which I
Yeah.
think all of our area is going to need very soon.
Oh yes.
Um,
How many birds for Lambert? What was it again? I don't know. I can't remember this name.
Landon, you're the one
Landon.
who told me, by the way.
Such a
You
weird. Well,
told me.
I typed it to you. I'm a more like visual. Like when it comes to like sounding out names, I'm like Lamborghini.
BB Art down there, she apparently just fell and said, "Oof."
Oof.
I don't know.
Okay. What else? What else? I was going to mention also the worm. Describe that creature to her. Worm that seems to erode rock and also magic properties on whatever it touches.
Yeah, we made the Landon joke, Obi-Wan. We made the Michael Landon joke. We even mentioned Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah.
She tells you anything with that intensity of heat, touching a magic item often will destroy the enchantment.
Oh wow. Heat itself.
It's not particularly special of that creature. It's just it would be, a magic item can take some moments in the fire, but before really succumbing to damage, that can take a few minutes in the fire. But something of that intense heat,
Yeah.
once it materially destroys some part of the magic item, it can just completely destroy too much of the item for the enchantment to remain.
Yeah. Interesting.
She has heard of those. She's never encountered one. There are many creatures of fire, she tells you. There is a fire spirit of the desert that looks like a great twisting mass of fire, and could be 10 feet high, but the more powerful ones could be 100 feet high.
Oh Jesus. Very hot.
And those spirits are the Elisham.
Okay. I had on my list here, so. And, one thing I wrote down here that I'll just bring up for her is that that force teleport really got me thinking of armor items that resist magic influence. I asked her if she's come across any of those, familiar with any of those. What kind of look for, if possible.
Anything that can help you with resisting magic.
Yeah.
Will give you added benefits against anything that tries to magically influence you
Right.
against your will, whether
Right.
it be a spell of charm or whether it be to forcefully remove you from an area.
Right.
And there are many such items in the world. You can find them in most magic shops.
Okay. I'll have to take a look at that then. But yeah, okay, that's everything I had then.
Just in discussion of adventures and things like this, like I rolled for things that she volunteers that you don't ask about specifically.
Yeah.
So she tells you that on the mountains on the far side of the desert, that there apparently were a great powerful people who ruled that region and ruled from floating castles. And that now those castles have seemingly become unanchored and float about the world randomly.
Wow.
She saw one while in that region of the world, but she was too young at that time to have any means to reach it.
Oh, man.
She has heard that even teleporting by line of sight to it is insufficient. It will not allow you.
Wow. Yeah, I imagine.
So yeah, it's at noon now by the time you kind of both of you realize the time.
Yeah.
She leaves some coins on the table and then walks, asks if you still have a room rented.
I say, yes, I do.
And she goes, well, maybe we should adjourn to the room.
Okay. Yeah.
And we will have some privacy. And so you guys head back there.
Right.
And she says, are you ready and are you willing?
Yes and yes. No and yes. Not ready, but do it anyway.
She pulls out a very unusual looking wand. It is two very slender black branches that are wrapped around what can only be gemstones. And they're just, there's like 8 different ones. And they're just entwined around. And she says, she notices you looking at it and she goes, it is indeed the one you're thinking it is. And then she casts the spell.
Does that ring a bell or no?
No.
I love that. Oh my gosh. But what was it?
There's a flash.
I'm no longer willing. I'm just kidding.
Had my fingers crossed, sucker. So the you appear over on a slope of a mountain. There is there's a large town down below. There are mountains in the distance. She takes a breath and turns towards you and says, we are perhaps not more than 100 miles from Balabri on the elven side of the mountains.
Okay.
You should be, I hope, able to reach Balabri, and I will wait until we determine if that's true.
Okay. Yep. I was just curious about what the town were above then. I just kind of asked her quickly, like, well, then what? What is that place?
She says this is Hinadir. Some miles east of the town's just fled my head. I cannot think of what it's called. The city of the White Lady, the southernmost of the elven cities. The one, it's actually north of the Vetch, straight north of the Vetch.
Oh yeah,
I can't remember what it's called. Pleston, I think.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that's an elven city. But Pleston? Question mark.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Should grab my maps.
Avalar.
That's the Dwarven Nation, Obi-Wan. Avalar is the Dwarven Nation.
That would be really confusing. It's also the city of the elves. Damn it. Okay, well, cool. Yeah, I'll it occurred to me, I thought, I've been gone for 2 days. Should I be returning with anything as to not seem suspicious? It's a little late, but
well, as long as you've got a backpack with you, how can people tell that you're not returning with things?
True. It doesn't need to be their business, so yeah, fair enough. Okay. Then we'll try to teleport then to I need to recall, I don't want to teleport to the usual spot because that attracts the when I teleport to the spot that's kind of away from the keep, there's the one like Miagral's magic user comes out to see me. Did she tell me something last time? I didn't write anything down, but do you recall if I can
say that again?
So Miagral Creep, there's an area down the ways, the road.
Yes.
Like into the mountainside. And I've been teleporting from there, but the last 2 times I did that, it triggered like her to come out to teleport out here and see what I was doing.
Oh,
I can't remember if the last time she told me like to do something else.
Go further down. Well, you also didn't you have a place memorized on the opposite side of the path further down, but when you were being followed?
Yeah, that maybe so long ago. Let me look through my teleport locations. I haven't been back in a while. This was the holidays.
And don't forget your miracle roll as well.
Oh yeah, good idea. Back alley, library, valley building, clearing the north frontier mark next. No, I don't have another spot memorized. Do a quick search through my notes. Sorry, everybody. Just want to make sure we keep everything consistent here.
Well, and to our viewers, new and old, I know it seems convenient that a Jaya would show up to teleport him back, but I want to emphasize wasn't a wasn't a plot device. I roll things independent of what's going on in the player's life, in the character's life. So I'd actually rolled the next time Verilag would make contact. I rolled that back in November.
Wow.
And like, for instance, right now I'm rolling the next time that either a Jaya or Verilag will make contact with Brise. And unless something really changes that they would know about, that is
so it's very lucky that I got lost at that exact time.
Well, it's I mean, I guess, yeah, because it could have been much worse.
Been a lot longer until I found a way home. So okay, I don't find anything here, so I don't think.
So I think I know you had teleported from a different location. And I think we ought to say that it is one you've memorized. So I think we ought to have you erase the earlier location as being too close, right? Especially when they're on high alert whenever another noble comes to visit. That's
I don't want to be that close.
Right, because they get nervous and have to go check it out. Whereas if you come further away from the keep, then Lady Meagral, I should probably put a caption up about Lady Meagral just to remind folks.
Sorry about that. I had a hunch like it was different, but like I just have here is the normal location.
Right.
But I'll definitely change it to be further down.
Right.
Let's cross that out. So I'll try to teleport there to that place.
Well, feel free, gang, to send us some drum rolls, because as we all know, teleporting is difficult and
dangerous.
A 10th level spell is no fun.
I just end up back at like the town, like back at the breakfast table, like shit.
I guess are you aiming to?
Oh yeah, I'm going back to the keep, so I want to.
So you're not going to go back to the manor or the campsite?
Not right now. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a little too late in the day, I think.
Thank you, BB Art. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's right. So
it's a 70 to cast.
No problem. And give us
63 to aim.
No problem. So you land lower down on the slopes, on the path that begins to wrap around the mountain that you would use to throw off various pursuers. And you are you make it back, no problem. Take a moment to orient yourself. A perfectly fine casting. Obi-Wan, what is that second symbol? Or is it all one symbol? I can't tell.
It looks like a breadstick.
I know. Is it? It wouldn't be drumsticks, right? Because it would be two of them.
Yeah, no, it's a baguette. You can see in YouTube, like the icon's bigger.
It's a baguette. I don't know what that means.
Just take one baguette and like smack it against a drum. Boom, boom.
That's it. I mean, it takes the breadstick. She's reminding us to eat. So it is. That's what I thought, buddy. I thought it was bread. What I know,
I'm definitely ready for this encounter here.
So yeah, you.
It's a drum roll.
Oh, that's not a roll, though. That's not a full-on loaf, woman.
Laugh.
Oh my God, drum baguette.
That's pretty good.
It's like a drum major. So,
All right.
badumts, as BB Art says. So funny. Obi-Wan, we're always glad you're here. Always glad you're here. So you're back at Lady Miagral's keep, sort of
Right.
midway up the slope. Well, not midway up the slope. She doesn't live anywhere near to the top because it's so inhospitable.
Not like one of those like reclusive lords who just lives in like worst place ever.
Right.
So no one will like talk to them or invade them.
It's like evil geniuses, evil scientists. Like, you know,
Right.
like, why are you up here? The oxygen is thin. Our heating bill is huge.
Exactly. Can't cook any food.
That's right.
Okay. Well, yeah. So it's been 2 days, or really 3 days, because I guess I left on the morning of the 27th. Now it's the 30th. So I'll walk in, make sure. Don't have my familiar anymore to worry about.
Don't have to worry
But I
about
will have
that
my
anymore.
weapons in my arms, as I was instructed to, and just kind of, make sure presence is known. We'll go back to my the house that my room is in, and where Adabir is staying, and make sure it returns safely. And I'm also keeping an eye out for Aldrif if he might be here. I guess he must have been traveling with others, right? So I'm kind of looking out if there's any more horses or also any of Algrit's men. I'm throwing a lot at you, but I guess
No, it's I'm keeping the list down because some of these I already know the answer for because I've rolled them.
Gotcha.
I had to know them ahead of time for various other things.
Right. The keep is burned down.
As you walk in, the place feels a little emptier, and you'll seek confirmation, but you suspect that the visiting noble is gone.
Okay.
Right, I need to change Kralum stuff. Maybe I'll do that during the break. You pass through. No real sense that people are taking note of you. Head to your quarters in the keep.
Yeah, and let's kind of drop stuff off here. I think it's gonna be an easy day. I'm just gonna drop stuff off and spend the rest of the day, getting reacquainted or just kind of
getting updates and
then exactly.
As you approach, there's a sense that you've been spotted from the upper windows because, or someone's seen you out a window at least because, I gotta get his name up. The Burla, is that right?
Burla.
You're cold, huh? Yeah. Oh, I'm in the wrong damn thing. Damn it.
Yeah, his name's Burra, but like every time he like BLRA, I don't know. Whenever he talks, he gets a shudder.
That's it. Yeah, Burlo, there he is. So it's really good. I got a list of all your NPCs that you deal with. All 25 of them.
Oh my god. Is that small?
Well, I mean, in terms of ones I believed you would have repeated.
Right.
So
I would like to go talk to the Goblin Innkeep in Alamar and find what they've been doing these past 2 months, Kevin.
Okay. Well, they have been eaten by the Dragon of Forgetfulness.
I love that.
So just deal with it. That's all I got to say. So Burlo comes out, and sure enough, he's glad to see you. He says, there was a little fear that perhaps you had met with the visiting nobles assassins. Let me put these in alphabetical order. There we go. Sort of ascending. There we go. So, so there, you know, he just had a bad feeling. There is some news of a type in that some of Miagral's soldiers that are part of the scouting to various fire mountains. One reported back seeing increased eagle activity. And they, you know, they had to be driven rather harshly by their commander to go forward, believing it to be an ill omen to continue looking. But still no news for having found one that seems to match the criteria that we need.
Right. Monterey Baker Yard says, "Oh man, I have a dragon of forgetfulness too."
Yeah.
Don't we all?
Yeah, mine swallows towns whole. I mean, God, I'm so forgetful. When I was younger, I mean, we're talking about 30 years younger, I hated having umbrellas because I would set them down, and when it's out of sight, I would just lose them. You know, it reminds me of the Mitch Hedberg, who's a comedian, his bit about he started buying really expensive pens, and he talks kind of like this. And I bought a really expensive pen because I was tired of losing pens and not caring. And so go look up Mitch Hedberg. He died way too young.
That's pretty funny.
He's so
the punchline.
funny.
And then I lost that pen.
Yeah. So I really hate that he died like at, I don't know, 42 or something. It was just so awful.
Gosh.
And he's had such a unique sort of Stephen Wright-esque, but I think more observant than Stephen Wright, more quirky than Stephen Wright. But anyway,
yeah, I'm just looking up really quickly. Who have I told about the eagle? I think only Adabir, right? About the visit by his name was Cora Kyle, actually, the eagle. I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
I need to create a thing for Cora Kyle, an NPC thing for Cora Kyle. So yeah, you know, he's just glad to see you, you know, but he can tell by looking, you know, by the look of surprise on your face, you know, that there was no reason for him to worry, and he's just glad.
Yeah.
He says, you know, I didn't share a word of my doubts with the master. I didn't want him to share them. He said, I do have good news that tomorrow morning, Aldrich will be escorted into the keep.
Awesome. Oh, that's great.
So, so head up to your room.
Yeah.
So,
take all my gear off and store everything away. Make sure nothing's been shifted around.
Yeah, you head up there, you unlock your door and shut the door, and there's a sound of movement from down low, and you turn, and there is a rat looking at you, and there's a little blood coming down his mouth, and the rat says to you, "What have you done?" And with that, we're going to take a break.
Hey, no, can't do this to me.
So if you guys just want to grab something to drink, run to the restroom, go visit our website or the donation page, look at his notes and character sheet, all of that, that'll be great. And we'll be back in just a few minutes. And we'll see. That's exactly right, DVR. Dun, dun, dun. And we will be back and see what Kralum's problem is.
All right.
So thanks for hanging out with us. Please hang out with us for the break. And we'll see you in just a few minutes. Well, hello, everybody. Thanks for hanging with us after the break. We are back, and we've got a problem.
Oh, yes.
What's our problem here? Well, it could be the Kralum has confronted Brise in her room. He is apparently injured, bleeding from his little rat mouth.
It's a very accurate description of the problem.
And says to him, "What have you done?"
I ask him what he means. I've been out adventuring, but I haven't run into any trouble that I know of.
Just lost Max and Brise. Oh, you're back.
I'm back.
Sorry.
Bunny Baker says they left rat poison out. Like, oh, sorry. Next time I'll put the rat poison away.
That's totally mine. It's labeled rat poison, though, Kralum. I don't know.
I can't resist.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard, but I just said that. I was out adventuring, but I didn't run into any direct trouble. What happened to you?
You were the only person I have ever told about the eagles bombarding me. And now they have come again.
Yes.
They threw great stones.
Oops.
At one of my bound claws. And have torn it free. I now lay bleeding, dangling above the lava.
So it's working, is what you're saying. I would have to tell him that what I told the Eagles. There's no getting around that.
You don't have to tell him anything.
I guess I don't have to tell him that. You're right, because they could have just seen him again. Yeah, that's fair. Okay, I'll keep my mouth shut. I'll keep my mouth shut unless he asks again.
Well, I mean, you need to make a decision, I guess, generally.
Yeah.
Is this a situation that warrants lying?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, just like by his tone, he sounds pissed, but I don't know what I mean, he could offer to stop helping me, I guess. So I would want to.
I mean, essentially, is there any way to get out from him, his legitimate conclusion that you've betrayed him?
Is there? I mean, other than just to feign ignorance, or at least to say I was. Oh, you know what I could say? I could say I was visited by the Eagles, but I, didn't reveal your location. But perhaps they, were able to tell from my, just lie about my visit to the Eagles. So yeah, I would say then that I was visited by one of the Eagles actually, but I, refused to tell them anything about you or about your location, but perhaps they mistrusted me enough to try something again. That's what I tell them.
Roll for me.
It's a 67.
Roll again. No, actually, you don't need to roll for me.
Okay.
So you begin formulating this thought in your head, and you realize that whatever lie you were going to choose, you were lying to a great and powerful demon.
Yes, this is true. And that's why I was thinking really hard. I'm like, Is that even possible? But,
So, I mean, if you want to go through, roll with it. We'll see how convinced he is.
I'm going to say no. I don't think he's. That's a good idea. You got me like double thinking myself now.
Sure. I mean, I just want. I mean, I.
Because my first thought was there's no chance I can lie to this guy and convince him because it is the truth. But then like you suggest like can I lie to him? And now I'm like not sure. I'm gonna go with my gut instinct and say yeah, no, we're just gonna tell him the truth because.
Or say nothing.
I guess yeah. He is say nothing. Yeah, just not reveal anything. Don't comment on it. But I mean, I have to deny, like he's going to accuse me, right? I have to deny that, and he's going to demand an explanation, I imagine.
I mean, yeah, you may have to say something.
Yeah.
What would you like to say?
Well, I mean, if he presses me, I have to tell him the truth. So I guess what I'll say if it comes to it is, I was visited by one of the Eagles, and they did suspect that you are, present in the valley, and I didn't try to deny that. Is what I'll tell them. I didn't deny that there's suspicions that you were in the valley. I wasn't sure what would come of it, but wasn't really in a position to.
How will you explain how the Eagles knew to come to you for verification about him? I mean, you may not have an answer.
I'm one of the few adventurers who leaves the keep. They could have been stopping other people, perhaps. No, I mean that doesn't make any sense because he would see through that.
I think Bunny Bakery is right. It's time to put out some rap. You just stomp him to death.
And whenever he reappears in another form, so yeah, oh, man, it's really tricky. How did the Eagles first approach me? Oh, because I talked to the priest birds.
Yes.
Well, I could. That's another kind of half truth. I'll say that I was, in the wilds. I came across, the creatures, some priest birds, and I was, speaking to them of my troubles, and perhaps it made its way to the Eagles, which is partially true, actually. So that's what I'll tell him if he asks. At least I can play the naivete card because I'm like just a young, beautiful woman. It's like I didn't know they would start throwing rocks at you. I'm sorry.
You have betrayed me, child. What would Lady Meagral make of this report that you're trying to free a demon on her back steps, and that her precious Adabir has betrayed her too? I will save you answering the question. I will show you the answer.
No need to go that far. I try to stop him. How can we
He stops halfway under the bed and turns around.
The Eagles are trying to free you, perhaps more violently than before. This is
Well, they were trying to kill him earlier. They were dropping stones.
right.
directly on his center mass.
Oh, so he still thinks they're trying to do that, I guess. Yeah.
Well, why would they?
Maybe
He
aim.
tells you, the only person he's told, less than 2 months ago, he told that story to you.
Yeah.
And now the Eagles are back after 100 and something years, 120 years, however far back it was.
Okay. So I guess I really should tell him the truth then, that the Eagles are trying to free him, not because maybe he still thinks.
Trying to aim for the chains.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess it was kind of a mistake lying to him, because now he does just see through that. I think I was trying to cover it up. So I'll tell him then when he turns back around that, all right, the truth is that the Eagles, I think, are trying to free you by aiming for the chains this time.
Roll.
67.
His eyes flash visibly under the darkness of the bed. I mean, red. And he says, "You little fool. Why would you not share this with me? I have to use so much of my power now simply to stay alive. The Verlag. I cannot fight her as much as before."
Oh. She said a sudden increase in power that Verilag has had. Wow.
She is now a 10-fold threat. Easily. It may be possible for her to read your mind now from any distance.
What?
And spoil any hope we have of undoing her.
Is there truth to that, seems like, or is he trying to threaten me?
Well, what's the threat? What good does it do him to threaten you?
I guess. Because he has his plan that he wants me to follow, and then I have my plan. And I mean, if he's trying to convince me that his is better just with these kind of threats, I don't know. But I guess it's not a big reason, really. So.
I mean, he can't kill you, or all is lost for him.
Right.
He has no ability to kill her, which would at least presumably help him. Right. I don't know if it would end his imprisonment. I don't know that anyone knows if it would end his imprisonment.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean. It doesn't really make sense for him to.
So it's so weird. It's like you're weirdly, uniquely safe from everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone needs you.
Yeah. Ugh, such a weird situation. Able to. I will counteract that with I did meet with one of Verilag's I guess underlings, associates, you could say, recently, and she so she's still, what's the word? I guess she trusts me enough to send these people to interact with me instead of making sure herself. I don't think I'm on her bad side yet.
She has already been to visit me.
Ooh. Okay.
She has chased off the eagles with her power and deepened the illusion that surrounds the top of the mountain. If she comes to question you, you will hardly be able to conceal any answer from her, given her new tremendous powers.
Mm.
And after that, our plan is spoiled.
My feelings exactly, Obi-Wan. Well, dang it.
This old fool in this house, he's probably weeks away from a solution to undo these chains.
Mm.
Your precious bird friends may be hunted down one by one, for all I know.
I don't even know what to inquire about here.
I am now too weak to research, and it is with effort that I move from creature to creature now.
Mm.
And each one I do immediately sickens and begins to weaken. Think on what you've done. It may be all our undoing. And the rat just collapses dead.
Jesus. Obi-Wan says she doesn't understand. So it's happening that Krallum is given so much power to the queen. It seems like Krallum shares power with Verilag and has to resist some of that sharing to use it for himself.
To stay alive
Right.
above the mouth of the volcano, and now stay alive through a grievous injury.
Right. Right. And dangling.
So she's able to take more power.
Right.
He is drained, so he's being drained more.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and of course she can't let him die either. That's sort of interesting. She's dependent on both of you.
Right. But I mean, if she's been there and assuaged the situation, then assuaged.
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 We'll cut that in editing. It'll be
She's
fine.
very suave.
That's right.
In her assuagements, assessments.
I'm about to spill over this computer and ruin it.
She, I imagine she knows that he's still bound. Yeah. Exactly. Obi-Wan.
Right, Obi-Wan. The Krallum, the demon, is unable to resist as much as he has before because now he has to concentrate power on simply not bleeding to death.
Man.
Brise, roll for me, or Max, roll for me on behalf of Brise.
I do know one thing before I roll. One thing I know is that the Eagles have found him. So if I can reach out to the Eagles again, we can know how to find him. I mean, if they remember like the path, right? I guess.
Sure.
Even if it's illusion. So I got to remember that. 77.
it stands to reason you think that that she will have to go back and heal Crowlem. She can't risk him dying.
Right.
The question is there any, the question that occurs to you is there any exchange now between Crowlem and Verilag? Would he, out of spite, give you up?
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that.
Brise is now.
He seemed about to, to basically ruin my attempt. So it's not out of the question.
And now he can't help research. He's too weak.
Right.
He has to shift bodies every few hours just to have a presence in the world.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he could, but I don't even know what I could do about that because I can't communicate to him easily anymore.
I guess you do have, I mean, I guess a natural question is, to what extent do you need to talk to Adabir?
Right. So I haven't told Adabir about the Eagles. I remember looking through my notes because I was afraid that, because Adabir's whole thing is he wants to, basically experiment on Crowlem to use him for his research. So the fact that the Eagles are trying to free him could lead to some negative consequences. So I would need to bring that up and then mention that they have found him. But then also mention that they started attacking him. And what would that bring about? I mean, that solves like the hard problem of like locating him, but I guess we need to find out if Adabir can even ready to attempt to use some of his theories to try to use his power, use Crowlem's power. So I feel like I do need to bring it up.
Yeah,
because he's kind of like
he's the friendliest expert you have.
Yeah, exactly. And he is still like a viable solution. I'm here partly because of him. The Eagles were just another possibility. So yeah, I think the next step is to meet with him and relay this information. Do I want to? Okay. Yeah, I don't know what to do about Crowlem, how I can kind of restore his trust in me. He does seem, like you said, pretty spiteful, so I can just hope for the best there, I think. I'm thinking also Verilag does find me that there really isn't anything I can deny. Like he said, there's no like truth I can really.
I mean,
I can try it. I was saying if I should have like something, something ready if she does ask me again.
Well, I mean, he certainly suggested that your next conversation with her may be beyond questions.
Yeah.
May not involve dialogue at all.
Yeah, true. Might just peer into my thoughts and then find out everything. Okay, let's go to Adabir. get some advice. Like, I don't know. I feel like at work right now when I just come across a piece of code that I have no idea what it means. And I'm like, does anyone know like what I could do with this? This looks really dangerous. gosh.
Holy
moly.
Yeah, holy moly.
Holy
So you go, you spot Burlow on your way to Adabir's quarters. Do you want to press on or do you want to ask Burlow? Burlow will always know where Adabir is. I mean,
yeah. So I'll ask him really quickly. It's like something urgent's come up. Is it possible to see them?
You are as pale as a sheet. Are you well?
I'm fine. It's just something I realized, while I was on my travels. I urgently need to tell Adabir.
The master is napping. All the apprentices are out of town. If it's important enough,
I think it's worth waking him. Yes.
All right. And he joins you, and then he leads the way. Seems like they've instituted new security. He takes out a very special looking key, and turns it. Motions for you to wait. Shuts the door. You hear it lock again behind him. You hear an argument in the room. Burlow placating eventually. You're let in the room. A very addled Adabir is sitting on the edge of his bed. What is it so urgent that you must rouse me?
Well, I look at Burla and look at the door.
Of course.
Very sensitive information, yeah.
He said, I'll be right outside. He shuts the door, locks it.
Okay. I'm going to start off with the good news, which is that a little while, I guess, do I say, yeah, I was visited by the great eagles of this region. And they offered, in a way, to help us with our situation. And they have found Kralum, found the mountain he's on, the demon. I just found this out.
He really sits upright. He's like, that is beyond my wildest dreamings. I expected we were a month away, at least, before we could even find the right mountain.
Definitely accelerates things, yes. And then I will tell them the next piece of news, which is that they
all on their own.
Exactly. It's like
stupid eagles.
Crazy idea. They attempted to free the demon himself.
Roll for me. Let's see how bad you feel about omitting
that I insinuated 59.
Yeah, I would think you feel pretty rotten. You can press on. I'll let you.
No, I don't think it's in my character to do that. When I was visiting.
That's the thing, though. It's in everybody's character to protect themselves.
Right.
I am giving you the choice.
Okay.
If I give you the choice, then that means you're not going against character. Everybody.
True. Yeah, that's fair.
Can be an asshole. So.
Let me think about the consequences really quick. If I don't tell him any asks. I mean, yeah, we'll hide that information for now.
Okay.
But I mean, if he asks, I'll have no choice but to tell him.
Okay.
That would be in my character, I think, just to be like, well, it was me. So I mean, I'll tell him, and it seems like they've tried to free him themselves by throwing great boulders at his manacles, and they had some success. But now we have a problem because
He
Okay.
screams,
Okay.
"Free him! Free him! How shall I ever regain my vigor and my youth if you free him?"
Not know he was going to try to do that. That makes a lot of sense, though.
He is so mad you fear for his health.
Oh my god! I'll try to calm him down. It's okay.
He fights you away. You run, go get Burlow. Burlow rushes in. He is so red in face. You're alarmed. Like you don't want to leave the room, even though.
Yeah.
Trying
to get help.
Burlow, is kind of what's the word? Understandably is not the right word. I guess given what he doesn't know about the situation, right? He's saying, what have you done? What
Right.
So he's ticked at you for reasons that he can't know how right he should be.
Yeah. Yep.
You're just ushered from the room.
Okay.
And they close and lock. Burlow closes and locks it. What do you want to do?
I'll wait for. Try to listen in, see what they're discussing.
There is no way you shouldn't be able to make out those yells that occasionally come out.
Mm-hmm.
Roll for me.
56.
They have, no doubt, enchanted this door.
Oh, entire door.
To mangle.
I'll cast an open spell on it. Let's get teleported 1,000 miles.
Let's do it.
Teleported into the volcano.
You will soon want to be 1,000 miles away from it. You feel so bad now, given everything that's happened.
Yeah. It's just weird. This is what I love about Karandrin. It's this weird mix of I want to succeed and beat this demon and whatever, but I'm like, this poor old man. It's also I feel so bad. Might have caused him a stroke. It's
right. You sort of parts. You come to care about the NPCs. They're not just plot scenery that you cut through and cleave through and so on. And I hope that I make them feel like people with lives and motives and all that. Roll for me.
71.
So a sense of betrayal is rising in you about his secret plans.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they are seemingly benign, but why wouldn't he have told me then? I mean, my plan is to wait here, as long as my patience lets me. Just pace around the hall a bit.
All right, so let's see. This is interesting. How's your temper? Do you remember?
Oh. Mm. On my character sheet, or I guess
Yes.
in my like character description.
Right. It's in the power, food, sculpture, height.
No, I'm actually, very quick to forgive. If it says don't really have anything about getting quick to anger.
Which means you have an average temper.
Yeah. And I'm, right here, the world is not built to necessarily go our way is one of my beliefs here. So.
Okay. So let's if your priority is staying, I think what you ought to do is make a roll to try to stay at the door as opposed to storm off and process your own thoughts.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I would like to stay here because I don't want that conversation going finished.
Right.
But so let's do a roll for that. If I'm maintaining my frustration. 86.
Okay. So you marshal yourself. That's fine. Let's have you roll then for your patience and see how long you stay at the door.
Agreed. That is a 3. So I'm like, I'm fine, but I just cannot stay here.
You're not going to storm off in anger, but you can only wait so long.
Yeah.
In part because you're also dreading the next part of the conversation.
Right.
So you stay just a moment or two. You kind of pace. You try to, you wrestle your anger down. You're like, I'll deal with that later. Okay, let's finish this conversation. And you're like, I gotta go. I can't deal with the,
Absolutely.
And back to your room.
Yeah, I think so. Seems like I just want to be alone right now. And if he'll send for me, when he's ready, I guess.
So you,
or I guess I might be hungry. I don't know.
I doubt you're even thinking about food. You had a late breakfast anyway.
That's true. Yeah. So
you head back to your room. There's the dead rat just underneath the edge of your bed. Glancing under there, you see there are 3 dead rats.
Oh my gosh.
He's been waiting for you.
Oh,
each one, there's a pool of blood where it just bled out from the mouth.
It's so no. Probably find that pretty gross.
It would happen even in nicer homes. It's just you have people to deal with such things.
But I'm a person who's uptight and clean, so
that's very true.
Organize my possessions, my area. I'm like, I think I'd probably get that out of there before I even start thinking about anything.
You want to summon a maid? There's nothing so long as you're in the room with them. There's nothing they can really do.
Yeah. Definitely summon a maid and just I don't know what's going on here, but please clean this up.
Roll for me.
56.
You just snap at a maid that you see down below, and they come running, and you're like, "Get pail and water, clean this up."
Yeah.
They hop to and they get it done. And now what? You have a clean room. Are you just going to pace in your room? Or are you going to? I imagine you're pretty overwhelmed.
Yeah, I probably just want to process my thoughts right now. Again, I'm still would like to, continue this conversation while it's on my mind. So I'll, wait to be summoned, but for now, unless I think I'd be able to think better somewhere else. I think being alone is probably the best. All right, I have like a character sheet. When I'm soul searching, I have kind of like deep questions. Like I prefer to keep to myself. So
Right.
Or just a time to introspect, like what am I going to do, and how much can I trust these people?
So, there is there's just a long time passes, and every now and then you pace. Sometimes you sit on the edge of the bed. Sometimes you sit at your chair and table,
Yeah.
and you're just going through 1,000 different thoughts and so on. It is early evening before you know it. And you realize you're hungry, but you also realize that what's really pulling you out of this is there's people yelling in the courtyard, and you can hear soldiers running and so on. You go and you open your window. It looks out the back of the property, partly to the mountain slope, and then partly just out into open air. You're too far in to be able to see down into the valley, really, but you can see across to the other valley.
Yeah.
The far side of the valley. And there are soldiers running by, carrying bows, carrying arrows, and they're glancing up very regularly. One spots you and yells at you to stay inside and keep your windows closed.
Can I yell back at him just like really quickly? What's wrong? Are there more eagles?
And you hear distantly, "Aye."
Okay.
Irie. That's what they live.
No. The Irie. From the Irie. It's really fun. I was thinking of all things, like the maid who like ran in and cleaned up the 4 dead rats. Like that's the type of, like, if I would write a fantasy book, and like the type of fantasy books I like when I do writing, like that's the type of character I would write. Like the maid who comes in, like sees like what's going on, but doesn't understand anything. And then like,
interesting.
Like
sort of
a sense of mystery kind of.
Yeah. The peripheral character who's sort of piecing things together.
Right. And then might become enmeshed in it later.
Right.
Or have some unfortunate fate without ever really understanding all of it. I guess It's very Lovecraftian too. That kind of style of writing. That was pretty interesting. Okay, well, some more eagles. They're trying to. Do you think they're trying to communicate with me? Because they said, yeah, 99.
It's dead certain to you that they're looking for you to give you an update.
Okay. Then I better make myself available. I gotta sneak out of the keep, right? I can't really teleport out. Or wait, I forgot. Teleporting out.
You can't teleport out either.
Yeah, okay.
Because it would allow the escape of assassins.
Right, true. Yeah. Okay, then we're gonna try to sneak out of the keep. Well, I guess I can, go out to see like what's going on, and then just sneak out the front entrance of the keep.
Yeah.
So we'll gear up.
So gear up as though adventuring, right?
Yeah.
You say sneak. Are we talking using?
Well, I'm gonna leave the house acting like, I need to see what's going on. Okay. But then I'm going to actually sneak out of the keep.
So but again, though, raises the question: what sort of what elements of stealth are you going to use? Are you going to use a face changing potion? Are you literally going to be stalking and hiding so people can't track your motions?
Yeah. I was just thinking stalking and hiding, but you're right. I probably definitely want to use a face change at this point. Does it change my voice as well? I don't know, because I'm afraid now the eagles won't recognize me.
Oh, that's true. They wouldn't be able to recognize you. Some potions allow you to cancel the effect. You don't know if this one would include that ability.
Okay. Let me just see what other potions and magic I have. Anything for... Yeah, face changes several minutes. Potion intangibility. I think we'll just try to sneak out then. Stalk hideout.
Well, mind you, I mean, there's not really going to be stalk hiding in the sense you have to walk past guards. You know what I mean?
Right, but that's what I mean. I guess well, here's what I wanted. Yeah, you're right. Because if I go out there, I see the situation. I have to act then. Damn, yeah.
But does it matter? Does it matter that sentries, where at whatever entrance, note you're coming or going? Does it really matter? What matters?
Yeah, I guess they wanted me to stay inside, like, but that doesn't mean that I can do whatever I want. Yeah, good point. There's really no sense in being sneaky.
Well, they don't have power over you.
Right. If they accost me, I just say I have my own business. So it's something I forget a lot. And
right.
I think they're gonna like attack me or something. I'm like, wait, no, they're just the guards serving.
And they serve you because you are a guest of Meagral. Now they won't disobey Meagral for you, but they're not going to risk. They know what that house is. That house is for guests.
Yes.
You know, that's not a barracks. You know.
Okay. Thanks for reminding me of that. So in that case, I am just gonna have my cloak and just walk on out of here.
Okay.
I'll try to be. I don't want everyone to know it's me, so I will try to have my.
Draw your hood.
Yeah. Walk out of here, but no sense in sneaking out.
You get some looks of, why are you just walking out in the middle of this? Bows are being distributed. There are more men up on the parapets and the ramparts. One of the guards at the gate physically puts a hand on you and says, "This is no time for a stroll."
Well, I'm telling him that I'm on my way to the city. I'm not planning to hang around here.
It's worth more than my skin to keep you safe. Go.
Okay.
You hike down.
I'll just walk down the road, glancing up. Hopefully I can catch their attention.
Yeah, you're out of sight of the keep.
Okay.
It is a smaller eagle than the last. Something of its voice sounds feminine to you. It lands directly on the road, just very boldly.
I didn't see the other one up close, so this is probably pretty cool.
Well, you saw it take off above.
Oh, true, I did, yeah.
And this one is clearly smaller.
Yeah.
It gives you a bow of its head. And it says in fax, I am Rhea, servant of the Lord Korakal. The master was struck by a great force today in bombarding the great creature on the mountain. It is his wish that I convey to you the events. Will you hear my words?
Please.
Stone after stone were dropped on the great evil in the mountain, aiming for the chain. Many of the stones were twice your size. The chain did not break, but the creature's limb tore free of its body after several hours of bombardment.
Mm.
Moments later, a woman appeared on the lip of the volcano. Her words were filled with a dark and ancient force that struck many of us to the ground and took from us our memories.
Mm.
Only the great Lord Korakyle now knows the way to the mountain.
Oh my gosh.
And even those who flew and escaped cannot recall its place and could not see it
Wow.
thereafter. My lord will be hopefully healed of his injuries in a week's time.
Mm.
After which he will fly to discuss the situation with some of the great powers of the world. He gives you thanks for your courage in confronting the great evil in our midst. But clearly, the situation is more dangerous than even that.
Yeah.
He asks if you will accompany him to speak.
Would I? I will. He's inviting me. I mean, I just have to ask, what does he mean by powers of the world? I mean, does that ring a bell to me, or I mean,
You take it as a general sense of individuals of great wisdom,
right?
much as you were counseled to seek yourself.
Yeah, I guess it's fair. Whatever his version of that is. Yes. I mean, I say I would like to. I mean, I guess I could. Is there any problem if I say yes? I'm thinking, like, in terms of Verilag.
The first problem is you're putting yourself in the clutches of people who have so much power they can ignore your decisions.
Right. And that's something my character probably doesn't like too much.
I mean, it's one of those things like, well, what's an example? I mean, well, honestly, it's like reporting to the police, right?
Yeah.
If you go and report a situation to the police, it's out of your hands after that, right? What they do, and you can't stop what they do. And if you try to stop them, they can restrain you.
Right.
Now, obviously, just like with the police, it would be a form of benevolent restraint, a restraint intended not to do you harm and to keep you safe. But
as we've seen, especially with the Eagles. Yeah, I see what you mean. And by saying yes, I can at least be a part of that.
And certainly, as an adventurer,
Well, yes.
I mean, that's
I was
enormously
thinking more. I
tempting.
was thinking more about, I don't know, a Verilag somehow. I don't know, like the repercussions of that. It's so variable. Like if I were to still feign, loyalty to her, how could I do that if I'm on this quest?
Right.
For
You
lack of
can't
better
have her
words.
visit.
Right. And that's what kind of concerns me.
Roll for me.
But I just thought of something. I mean, if I'm among all these great powers, possibly, maybe I am safer than being alone here. 53.
So, in all likelihood, given the dire turn that things have taken for the Eagles, even, right? I mean, they got their asses handed to them.
Yeah.
He's probably already sent messengers to those powers.
Right.
As he recovers.
Right. True.
So he's probably expecting a couple of days there, a couple of days back. There's half a week. And then, we
So you're
get
saying there's like time kind of before that.
Well, it just occurred to you that he's not going to sit by, right? He has his own little kingdom, so to speak, right? Which means he has messengers at his hand who are very fast.
Yeah.
And he has, like you have, relationships and allies. And, this has turned into, we're sort of growing in scale about who's getting involved here.
Right.
We didn't expect Crowlam's injury to raise the stakes so much because we didn't anticipate his injury at all.
Yeah, exactly. Leading to so many. This kind of chain reaction.
You're the manacle of the hour.
Thank you. I've ruined it. I mean, also my thoughts are with Adabir. Like, should I do a roll for like how much do I really still confide in him after that? After processing and knowing he has his own things he's hidden from me. I don't know. I mean, it was bound to happen, but like, I don't know if that would affect my character more deeply just because of my.
You are slow to trust.
Right. And so hearing that kind of.
Yeah. Roll.
Yeah. 71.
So it's definitely disappointed you that he has his own agenda, and it's a self-serving agenda that he didn't share with you. I will leave it to you as to how your character processes that fact. But I want you to make a decision now. And I say that because I want the decision to be made in isolation of your next conversation with him where benefit might occur, right? And
yeah, exactly. Agreed. I need to give an answer now. And I always think my answer is yes, to go pin my hopes on the Eagles instead, because they've shown like action. They've actually, done something, and Adabir and all of his machinations and what's going on here is just, a little too much, I found. And the Eagles seem good, just like the priest birds. They seem like something that is a force for good, uncompromising good. So
yeah, there's a simplicity to their intent.
Yes.
That is leagues away from Agrit and Miagral and Verilag and Kralum and all of that.
Right. So they sound like my best allies right now. So yeah, I do say that I would very much like to accompany what's his name again, Lord Korakyle on his journey. I would appreciate that a lot.
Very well. Clearly, the Goblin Keep will not be the easiest place to find you again.
Indeed.
I would suggest that in some days' time that you find some place in this area open to sky where we might find you.
Okay. That's fair enough.
Do you have any more words that I should take to Lord Korakon?
Here, B equals.
Tell him that the bird is the word.
He just sends back like a lol. LMAO and then flies off.
Laughing my pinions off. What?
My pinions. Tickles my claws. Yeah, no, I think just tell him that, thank you and that he's a good ally. I don't think there's anything I should convey to him information-wise or otherwise.
She gives a bow, launches herself into the air, and you just feel the air rushing across the ground from her lift off, and it staggers you both physically and mentally. And she takes to the sky.
Okay.
This seems like a great place to end.
It really does. It's like a little bit of a chapter ender, like a book almost.
Well. Big developments.
Yeah.
Gee whiz. This is very interesting. I mean, I don't know if it's coming to a close, but it's certainly coming to a head.
Yeah, something's approaching climax.
Geez.
That's so funny that it severed his arm. That's so creative. I never would have thought that was a possibility,
that's one of the things I do is try to think of all the most likely possibilities.
Right.
And then, I might weight them based on interest of mine, and I'll just roll for them. And so, him just being injured was one of the possibilities. And then, guys, huge episode, possibly one of the biggest we've had. Thank you all for joining us. It's been really interesting. As always, we really appreciate you watching us stream by stream. Let your friends and family know, and we will see you next week, barring disaster. And as always, go check out Max's YouTube channel where he discusses the role of music. And
go look at something happy after this. Go on from videos.
Yes.
Very serious stuff.
That's right. So very dramatic, very heavy. Thanks as always to Brise Dunovitz, Brise's for Brise's art from Elliot Dunovitz. And you can go to her webpage. You see there at artstation.com. The character art for Brise is fantastic. We really appreciate it. And go check out my novel on Amazon, A Shore Too Far. I had a great deal of fun writing that, and I hope you enjoyed as much as I enjoyed creating it. We will see you guys next week if all goes well. And thank you again. Max, what should you say to these magnificent people?
Thanks for the round of applause from one of your bakery artists.
Oh, that's fair. Thank you very much.
I feel like an actor, like, oh yes, it was good role playing, wasn't
it? That's right.
But yeah, thanks everybody for coming out, and hope to see you probably next week. Yeah.
Yes.
Special Valentine's Day episode. Where Kralum and Verlag realize they actually have something. 5,000 years really does something for a relationship.
It does. It does.
But anyway, yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you all have a good night.
That's right. Thank you again, everybody. Check out our pages and go give us some money. But thank you, guys. We'll see you next week.